corporate recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume we have up first is for a data analyst. So what we need in a data analyst is all this stuff up here. So degree, industry, SQL, data visualization, stakeholders, explaining technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, how you solved a problem with data, not what the data is. That is probably the absolute biggest one that every single data analyst messes up on right out of college, is they put like how they got the data and all these impressive things about that, but like no one wants that. They really just want to know like how you solve the problem using the data, not how you got the data itself. MS Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, Word, Python, R, multiple projects and deadlines, and a bonus for cloud. So this resume is, I think, over 150 plus, which is the ratio. So your ratio is how many applications it takes to get an interview. Ideally, you want 1 in 50 at a bare minimum. Using my method, people usually get 1 in 7. Internationals should be aiming for a 1 in 100 at a minimum. And using my method, internationals do usually get a little bit lower than that. But that's just the case for internationals versus non-international. So let's see if I can find what I need in 20 seconds on this resume, because that is literally the only amount of time that recruiters have. So let's go and go. I don't care about that. A live demo of the tool to CTOs. I don't care about that. I mean, what? Collected data segments from SQL. What is this? This has absolutely... Did I get the wrong resume? Hold on. Maybe I got the wrong resume. If this is the wrong resume, then I guess spoilers, you probably won't even see this part of the video. It'll be deleted. Nope, this is the right resume. Yeah, so this has... I see nothing about this involving anything as a data analyst. So let me read what this person said. I am an international student with 2.5 years as a data analyst. Where? Where? What part of this is data analyst that I need? It doesn't seem like I need any of this. It's focused on RAG and NLP, and I mean, maybe the live demo to a tool of judges. Like, I can kind of see that. And KPIs and SLAs, and yeah, there's like 0 things here I would actually need in a data analyst. I didn't even think I got the right resume for a data analyst. Let's see. I've been parts of industry projects where I've worked with Gen AI as well. I've applied to a lot of jobs, over 1,000 with no responses. Any help you have with respect to my resume will be appreciated. Yeah, so I'm going to judge this as if this was not an international, because again, the only difference between an international and a non-international resume is the ratio is just going to be a bit worse for an international. So this would not fly if you were not an international. There's like nothing here I need that shows you're a data analyst. So first off, yeah, I get that it says data analyst here, but the title is nice. I care the most about the bullet points. Ideally, you'd have a good title and the bullet points. So let me break this down into a couple of parts. The first part is formatting, which is okay. The formatting on this could be better, but this is not... You did not get rejected for formatting. So this is the type of formatting I prefer people to use. It's on my website. The link is below. This is how you do it, but this is still at least legible. This is more legible, and I'd be able to get even farther down, which is the entire point of formatting. The entire point of formatting is just how far down in the resume can you go before you 20 seconds is up. And I got okay. So again, could be better formatting, but a bigger problem is the bullet points. What is this? Why are you focused so intently on AI and manual review time by 60% and time-stamped context-aware response? What is that? I don't know. You did not tell me. I don't think that is related to being a data analyst at all. Like, again, AI is hot right now, so a little bit of AI would be fine, but at no point do I see SQL or data visualization tools or how you solved a problem with data or MS Excel or Python or deadlines. I see a little bit of this, right? Like, presented a live demo tool to the CTO. Okay, that's good. I like that. That means you can at least present to people like stakeholders, which a CTO would be, and 30 judges. I don't know if I need the number of judges, but the fact that you put both of these is fine. earning unanimous praise. Okay, good. I like that. And 100% interest from judges in adopting the tool. So here's my problem with this. What do you mean 100% interest? Like this is one of the few times where numbers would be okay. We just said, and 5 out of 5 judges all agreed, or all of the judges, or just unanimous praise, and they were going to adopt it. But what was the tool? You did not tell me. Again, you're so focused on the tool itself being great when people who are hiring don't care. They want to know what it would solve. They want to know, like, the basics of what it would solve. And you did not tell me that. So there's really nothing here besides this small section in the first part that even leads me to believe this is a data analyst. Then we get down to here, conducting data segmentation. What's that? I don't know. And I'm sure that's enraging to hear, but the fact is the person reading your resume may not be technically knowledgeable in your industry. They may have 20 seconds. They may have, in fact, as a case here is the amount of requisitions I had at the same time. I had 35. At the same time, 35 roles, and some of those were data analyst, right? Software engineer, software manager, marketing manager, sales, just like a general sales role, oligonucleotide scientist, NLP scientist, I think it was, and probably a bunch of others that I can't remember. Of those 35, I would say only 10 to 12 of them were in the same segment. So that is a problem right now, is that this is unintelligible to somebody that is not deep in the industry, and the person reading your resume may not be deep in your industry. That may be a problem. So you need to fix this. So yeah, using SQL is great, but I don't know what data segmentation is. I don't care what 7,000 is. I don't care about 30 high plus markets, and I don't know what the GTM strategy is. Again, they may be in separate industries. They may not know what that acronym means. I think it's go to market strategy, but I could be wrong. And again, it's not even related. There's nothing here in the first part that's related. Now we go down to here, which again, if you noticed, I didn't even get a chance to go to. Analyze product performance KPIs. Again, everybody's focused on KPIs. This is not something that they really want from data analysts. There's some other roles that care about it, but not this. And SLAs, don't care about. Using good SQL and Python. Okay, good. To identify bottlenecks. Okay, that's fine. And uncover root causes. Good. And what do you mean efficiency by 22%? I don't know what that means. So your problem is you don't actually show that you're a data analyst, right? Like, this at least is semi-relevant, but you've got to stop putting these numbers in. Unless you're sales or a manager, you don't want numbers with the exception of dates. Dates you do need, but this is completely irrelevant. And the reason you're getting rejected is they're looking at this and they say, rag, why do I care about AI in this? Maybe it's a bonus, but maybe it's not. Okay, and then a demo of a tool? Well, I don't know what you did. You didn't tell me, so this person is clearly not a data analyst. And then they move down here and they're like, data segmentation. I don't know what that is. Rejected. And is that fair? No, it's probably not fair, but unfortunately that is the reality that you will be facing. So this is why your resume sucks, is it doesn't show that you're actually a data analyst. It focuses on everything that I don't need, and you sort of like push aside the stuff that I actually need, which is these basic tools, to the corner. So I'm going to need you to redo all of this. Again, fix the formatting a little bit, but a bigger issue is just the fact that your bullet points are garbage. They tell me nothing that I need, because if it's not this, it doesn't matter. And you can do this yourself, right? It's not difficult to get this. You take about 15 good job descriptions, ones that say the qualification. Not all job descriptions are good. And then you make an aggregate list of those terms, and then you can put them in here. And that's what I did with this. That's where this list comes from. It's an aggregate terms of about 15 or so data analyst jobs in the US at the time when I wrote this down. And you don't meet almost any of those. And here's the thing, you don't even need 100% of these to move forward. You only need about 75. But you meet like 2 to 12%, if that. And everybody's focused on trying to like impress the person, but this is the only thing that really matters in the resume. Once you get to an interview with the not recruiter, then you can impress them. But until then, none of this is relevant. It's just not, except maybe this. Maybe. So let's go to the next resume. But before we do that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends and family that need help. And if you ever need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And now let's go to the next resume. I think this is a controls engineer for PLC. So this person stated software engineer, systems and distributed systems, but I could not find those roles. There was like 5 of them in the entire US that I could find, and that's not enough to go by. We wanted a minimum, at least like 200, 300 roles to show up in your search, give or take. Now, if it's local, then it's probably going to be less, but ideally when you're searching for a job, you want to find approximately 120 to 150 search results that are 75% relevant to you in your job search. So I think this person is called a PLC engineer. It's also called a bunch of different names, but I think that's what they call this one. So assuming this is a PLC engineer, what we're going to be looking for is degree, PLC, so Allen Bradley, Siemens, I can never pronounce that, robots, coding knowledge, so C#, Python, SQL, etc., assembling, operating, troubleshooting, robotics, electrical, mechanical systems, EPICS, IO, HMI, SCADA systems, whatever those are, CAD software, FAT and SAT, and specific certs and ISO. Now, I will say this is a very hot industry right now. Controls engineers is very, very hot. So if you are actually a controls engineer and you have about a year or two of experience, you probably don't need my channel. The resumes that I had seen were so bad that they could not find anything in it, but this is a very hot market and people are hiring from it. So let's see if I can find what I need in 20 seconds and go. Okay, can't use that. Cloud, no. Vertex, don't care about. DAG, don't care about. Byzantine and Rust, I don't care about. Again, this may not be a PLC engineer, which is entirely possible. I don't know what the distributed systems are, because this is too broad of a title. So I am in my last uni year, and I'm applying to new grad roles. Having no interviews is making me worried. Okay, so couple of things. One, I don't think you're a PLC engineer. I think this list is irrelevant to you. 2, yeah, you're applying to roles way too early. You're graduating in May 2026. While some companies do hire earlier, the vast majority are not going to hire without 3 months. 3 months is about how long it will take a company to move forward with somebody. So if you cannot start within 3 months, they will not move forward with you. Now, again, there are exceptions to that, but the vast majority of companies are not going to move forward. So you applying now is probably a little premature. Second, I don't know what you do, because this doesn't read like any software engineer, right? It does not read like that, but you did state you were systems infra. And when I was even looking at systems infra stuff, this doesn't seem like it either. Like, I mean, I'm telling you here, I don't know what you do. And obviously, I'm not the best tech recruiter in the world, but I'm above average. I have filled roles faster. I have filled them with higher quality candidates than other recruiters in the same area, and I have taught tech. I don't know what you are, bro. And I'm not doing like the whole villain arc of like trying to be like lower my knowledge, which I sometimes do. I mean, I truly don't know what you've done. Like, I see AI model garden, but from some of the infrastructure structure I would expect, that's not really the stuff I would look for. I see cloud, which is probably needed, but the rest of this stuff I've not heard of. I mean, I've heard of Rust, but I don't think you have put down the right qualifications. So I don't think you're a PLC engineer, but I don't think these are right, and I'm using my intuition based on like reading a lot of resumes. So I don't know what you do. Are you a cloud engineer? Maybe that's what you're trying to go for? But because this is my problem, right? It doesn't read like front end or back end, which is fine. You didn't state that. It doesn't read like a cloud engineer. It doesn't read like an ML engineer. It doesn't read like somebody using agentic stuff. This entire resume reads like nothing. So I'm going to need you to go back to the drawing boards and find 15 jobs and then look only under the qualification. So there's people get this confused, as there's qualification sections and there is responsibility sections. You can ignore everything in the responsibility section. That is not relevant to you at all. Nothing in that section is what they're judging you on. I hate the fact that a lot of companies put that before the qualification because it confuses candidates, but you do not need to have anything there. It's the qualifications that matter. And I'm telling you, man or woman, I don't know what you are. And this is not Lee lowering it. This is Lee is legitimately confused as a above average tech recruiter, wondering what you've done, because all I've gotten is you used a little bit of Cloud, Vertex, and done timelines and documents. So I'm going to need you to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you want to do and look at the actual qualifications, because I don't think any of this is relevant. Like down here, it's full stack, but you didn't state full stack. You said systems and distributed. So go back to the drawing board and look at these roles, even if it's a little too early for you to apply, and find out what they actually want, because I don't think it's any of this. Let's go to the next resume. We've got another data analyst, but first, I want to go back to this, because I actually asked people in chat what they thought this person did, and nobody in chat could, and they're mostly software engineers, I want to be clear. Nobody in chat actually knew what this person did. So if you're, like, actually, still watching this, let me know in the comments, because, like, we don't know what you did, and we all couldn't figure out. The closest we got was AI, which I honestly think I slightly disagree with. I think there's an AI bent to this, but it's not primarily an AI role that you're looking for. So let me know, because nobody could actually know what you do, and that's a bad sign. You don't want people to look at your resume and go, I don't know what this person does. So now we go on to the data analyst. So what we need for data analyst is the same as last time. This is a financial industry. So in this case, we're going to need some slight financial stuff, which I'm probably going to miss, and that's okay, but I'm assuming like stocks and trading and banking information would count. So can I find this in 20 seconds? Let's go. All right. This is too long. What? Okay. Coordinate and delivery of data pipelines across projects, managing schedules and why do I care about that? Data governance, don't care about. Served as the data project lead by facilitating cross-functional. Okay, but what about this is leverage hands-on technical expertise? What do you mean by that? To support data integrity initiatives? Yeah, this is like, no. I don't know if this is AI or not, but this is kind of how some AI resumes read. And this is why, like, recruiters, here's a little secret. Recruiters can't really tell the difference between an AI resume and a not AI resume. A lot of us think we can. We can't. But the reason you don't want to use AI is because we can't tell the difference between a bad resume and an AI resume. And this may or may not be AI, but it is bad. So here's why this is bad. So formatting is off, all right? This is what it should look like. I do like the fact that you are multilingual. I think that actually should stay. I don't think you should bold it, but I do think you should keep it. Being multilingual is really, really good, so props on you. Here, we have a bit of an issue, is you say open to relo. You never want to put open to relocation. If you are applying for non-remote roles outside your state where you live in, you actually need a very small summary that just says moving to X by Y date, can move earlier if needed, because relocating is a yellow flag. It is a giant yellow flag to a lot of people. So you never want to put open to relo, because they're going to assume that you're not actually open to relo, that you're just saying that. Second, down here, I don't know if this is needed. Like, I don't know if you should keep this. I think you should keep this because it's a different degree than this, and that's good. But I don't know if you need to actually keep that. And then here, I don't know what these are. I assume these are certificates, but I've not heard of them, and maybe one or two of them are needed, but I don't think they are. Like, what do you mean Power BI Data Analyst PL300? Because for a certificate to matter, the recruiter has to actually understand it. Same with the manager. So this is already kind of a cluster of a bunch of stuff that is hard to read. And then down here, though, which again is the bigger problem, is not just the formatting, is this does not read like a data analyst. I don't know what this reads like. This you know what? This actually kind of reads more like a project manager. And truthfully, some of these bullet points, while not perfect, are not terrible for a project manager. But if I was hiring for a data analyst, I don't think I can move forward with this because these are not what I would be looking for. Or maybe a data engineer, actually. So again, this is a bit of the problem, is if the person reviewing your resume for real, both the hiring manager and the recruiter, can't tell what you do, that they think you applied to the wrong job, you're going to have a problem. So while I say is some of this stuff may work for data analyst or data engineer, sorry, not data analyst, or maybe a project manager, these are not good bullet points specifically for a data analyst. Like coordinated end-to-end delivery of data pipeline project across financial service organizations, managing project schedules, milestone deliverables using cloud platforms screams to me as a project manager or maybe data engineer, not about data analyst. And I do know I say multiple project, and that's good, but I don't really necessarily need to see that you coordinated. I just need to see that you did. So then here, project lead. Cool. I'm not really looking for leadership here. Cross-functional is great, but none of this stuff is related to, well, data analysis. In fact, the first thing I actually get to that is data analysis, besides cloud, which is a bonus, is down here. And leveraged hands-on technical expertise. What do you mean leveraged hands-on technical expertise? That's a nonsense sentence. Just say used SQL, Python, Power BI to X. Except here's the problem too, is you're focusing on what you did with the data, not what the data was used for. And remember, as a person reading your resume, I don't really care how you got the data. I just need to say, got data and used X, Y, and Z, boom. But I want to know what it's used for. And I think it's for performance dashboards. And then status reports, action tracking. See, this is okay, right? This part, coordinated with stakeholders to resolve project roadblocks and maintain governance alignment across financial data initiatives. That's not terrible, but again, it's too corporate-y. Like, you don't want to stand out and use this crazy corporate lingo in your resume. Your resume should read like a government document. It should be boring, it should be basic, and it should be ugly. That's what this is for. There's a reason it looks this boring, is it's easy to read and gets me the point across. So, but no one's going to scroll this far down. Like, this is where your bullet points actually start, and no one's going to get there. So we need to redo all of this with the exception of this part. And again, I will say, you did the language great. It's always good to show that you can speak multiple languages. So this person's in my chat, so I'm going to help them a little bit more. But for everybody else, we're going to the next resume. This is an intern software engineer, and what we look for in an intern is basically the same everywhere. We need to see that you have a degree, a basic knowledge of, and what is going to depend on what your industry is. So for data analysts, it would be data analytics. For software engineers, it would be a tech stack or two and some SQL and cloud and RESTful APIs and a back-end or a front-end language. For accountants, it would be GAAP, which is generalized accounting principles. So again, all interns are basically the same until you get to masters and PhD level interns. Then they require a bit more mastery of whatever that is for you. But you still need to show that you can work well with others and takes direction and criticism. So can I find a degree, a basic knowledge of any type of tech in relation to a software engineer and the ability to work well with others and takes direction and criticism? This person's ratio is 100-to-1, so I should find a little bit, but not enough to move forward with. That's my expectations. And go. Okay, degree, good. Collaborated to digitalize dealer, don't care. Okay, Python at least, I don't care. API at least I need. What is this? What is this junk? This is completely irrelevant. AI chatbot is relevant. Okay. What is this? Okay, yeah, this would be a decline. And as I expected, I found a little bit of what I needed. I found a little bit of tech. I found Python. I found APIs. I found generative AI. And I would like a little bit more, but that's fine. The problem is you filled this with junk. Like, what? Man, everybody keeps trying to impress us, and we will not be impressed, right? Not because we don't care, but because we are not educated on your degree, and we have 20 seconds. You can't be impressed when 20 seconds, because, like, I think candidates think that we open up our computer and then see their resume and spend like 3 hours on it, when the reality is we boot up our computer, we do our emails and whatever bookkeeping we need to do, and then we go through about 100 resumes in 20 to 30 minutes. That's it. That's the time we have. And you cannot be impressed. You cannot care about an individual resume when there were 40 prior and 50 ahead of you. Heck, sometimes there's 200 ahead of you. And none of these are what we're looking for. Like, what part do I see that you could work together? I don't see it. What part can you take direction and criticism? I don't see it. What part shows the actual tech stack? Little bit here, little bit. See, I'm even having trouble finding where the Python was. I saw it prior, but here it is here, right? Nobody cares about shortest-based algorithm paths and constraint-based scheduling, right? You're writing this resume with the understanding that we care about this stuff. And as somebody who's in with this industry, you think that we care about this because this is impressive to you. The problem is we don't. This is not relevant at all. None of this is relevant besides the API in Python. At no point have I ever seen a job description state, we are looking for somebody that has optimized dealer travel routes by applying graph-based shortest path algorithms and constraint-based scheduling, minimizing travel time. You will need to increase sales team productivity by a minimum of 20% to be considered. Nobody writes job descriptions like that. Well, and they do if they shouldn't, if they do that. But nobody wants this, right? Like, this may be impressive, and this may be something you spent 9 months on, but it's not related. If it's not related, it doesn't matter. It's like going to, like I'm just going to say, you go to McDonald's and you want a hamburger, right? Your stomach's not feeling great, which you probably shouldn't go to McDonald's anyway if that's the case, but whatever, it's there, it's lunch, it's the only thing I have, and you're like, look, I just want a plain hamburger with a single pickle, right? Weird, yeah, but that's definitely doable. And then they give you a Big Mac, and you're like, okay, but I don't want this. There's too much ketchup. I can't taste the actual burger. My stomach's upset. I can't do this. The pickle was the only bout of flavor I ever wanted. And they say, okay, sorry, we'll remake it for you. And they go back, and then they give you a chicken's wrap, and you're like, I did not want that. I wanted a plain cheeseburger. And this is what every single job applicant does, is you were that employee giving us all this crazy extra stuff when none of us are asking for it. We need the basics and the boring stuff. That is like, recruiters have been screaming this for so long, but every type of like fake career coach keeps going on about like, you need to do that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, you need to say used Python, SQL, and RESTful APIs in an AWS environment to create a cloud-based computing platform for fellow students or something. Cool, that's it. And met weekly with the engineering lead to discuss criticisms on code and fix them before our next meeting, along with working together in a cross-functional environment to do X and Y. Like, that's it. It's boring, it's basic, because that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for a Big Mac. We're not looking for this giant plate of spaghetti that you keep giving us. We're looking for a plain hamburger with a single pickle, and nobody gives it to us. Next resume. This is another intern. So same thing. All right. We don't know their ratio. And they said, I'm a junior in college looking to get my first internship and want to refine my resume more. Thank you so much. Sure. I'm glad to help. So, let's begin. 20 seconds on the clock. This is all we need. And go. All right. Set up a string group project, large scale code base, understand app structure. Kind of no. Integrated app, RESTful APIs in a Spring application, that's okay. Exposed to RESTful API endpoint, GitHub version controls, okay. There's some slight errors with this. This is really nice. I like how you wrote this. All right, so this would not pass for a few reasons. First off, your formatting is mostly good. It's not a formatting issue, though. If you notice, this and this are slightly different. So there is too big of a gap between these. And if you notice, there's also just a small, I think that gap is right. Yeah, that one's fine. There's too big of a gap between these, but otherwise the formatting's okay. So Here's how I want you to rewrite these. Set up Spring Boot project and explored a large code base to understand app structure and data flow. No. Never, ever, ever in your resume, ever say, learned how to do X. It is, for the weirdest way, it is almost always a no if someone says, learned how to do X. They don't want you to say, learned how to do X. They want to see that you have done X, not learned X. So in this case, exposed a secure RESTful endpoint and used Git, GitHub for version control and collaboration following agile development practices is good. This is a good one. It's a little too technical. I would rather you say created a secure RESTful API endpoint using Git, GitHub for version controls, and collaborated following in an agile environment, right? It's still a little bit too long. The problem with this is I'm not necessarily sure I care about some of this stuff. Like Spring Boot is good, but I really want at least a back-end or a front-end language. Like I want to see JavaScript or Java or Python or C, one of the C's, or why am I forgetting the last one? Python or Java or C. Okay. Python, or Java or JavaScript or Python or C. There we go. Brain. And I don't see that. Again, it's the very basic stuff that will get you that. And this is not as clear that you work together as a team, right? I do like Agile. I think that's good. And then we do this is co-built a full stack web app helping students find affordable campus using React, Node.js, and SQL. This is solid, but I would prefer this to say here, up here. So co-built a full stack web app and then put in parentheses React, Node.js, SQL to help students find affordable food near campus. Right? I think that's good. I think they're going to like that project. The problem is I also want to see how you worked a little bit more with others and took direction and criticism. So again, the core of this is here. A lot of these resumes, they say you need to burn it down and start again. I don't think you do. I think it'll take you 30 minutes maybe to an hour max to sort of fix these bullet points and clean them up a little bit. And then once you do, you should have a much better time. But I'm missing a little bit of the basic part of the tech stack. And I'm missing a little bit of how you took direction and criticism. It can kind of go here, but again, I kind of like this as a separate bullet point. So I want you to have another bullet point that shows you work well with others and take direction and criticism. And the fact is, this is probably the best way to put it too. Because you co-built it, you can talk about how you work together with your partner. What happened when there was a disagreement? What happened when just a disagreement? I want to know. That's exactly how you work together. So again, good first try. Very good. Fix it up. Shouldn't take too long. And then you should have much more likelihood of getting interviews in the next year when you start applying. And that is it for this episode. So thank you all very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you ever need more help, you can go on my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. That is where I help people out even more. And your path to employment starts here. So I'm glad to help get you ahead of your job search.